What's up, everyone? This is completely sporadic, setting up the tripod, the camera, hitting record, and just kind of having at it. Just I wanted to post. I mean, I want to post more videos. Sometimes I try to post things. I guess it's weird because this is a Batman channel, so all Batman news you would expect to talk about, right? But at the same time, I kind of, and not to anyone other channel's faults or anything like that. No, I mean, they're all doing great. I try to learn from all the other channels of different ideas or stuff to do. But I always like a piece of news comes out or a gameplay video or something cool, and it's like boom, 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 rapid fire. Every single account's covering the exact same thing, posting the exact same stuff, just highlighting the same details of the game or the movie or something. And it's like, that's cool. But I'm like at the point where it's like, well, why would I post it when just everyone else is already doing it? You know what I mean? Like, where's the uniqueness for me? Where's the interest or something? Or I just want to post more things that I'm like, hey, that's cool. Let me dive into that a little bit. Which I'm still trying to figure out because it's like obviously Batman news I have to cover, but at the same time I just feel like I'm searching for that edge of the uniqueness where I'm not just copying and pasting, every other video or every other bit of news. Like this is a channel that yes talks about Batman and everything that's going on with him, but also it's a deep dive past a surface level of things we really like about the character or attributes or characteristics we implement into our own lives or things we why he means so much to us, or the gist of everything I post on Instagram or um detail and videos. But I was like, well, that also sucks because there are some things, if there's something cool coming out, maybe some controversy, some rumors or whatnot, how do I talk about it? Like, what if it is something I do want to talk about? So, this is a way that I guess for me to just kind of shoot the shit about things, but also not just it feels so copy and paste to me. So, actually, what I'm doing, I thought about naming this little segment "Bricks and Bullshit." Now you might be wondering, bullshitting, shooting the shit, talking about things. Where do the bricks come about? Well, now I will say I've already started, but the bricks, I mean Lego bricks. Now, if you're like me, you can't resist every Batman Lego set that comes out. They come out, you want it. I literally have no more room for anything I'm building, including this, which to the uninitiated, well, I mean, it's not even built enough where you can kind of tell, but this is the Adam West Batmobile Lego set that you can buy. It's about $150, 17 bags. Just, it's going to take a long time, but I'm here building it. And, I was like, well, why don't I just hop on, hit record, build this, and just see what comes to mind? I have no script. I have no sort of plan. It's literally just me and wanting to talk about it. And I was like, well, maybe that's my outlet. Maybe that's how I dive into the news and the Batman more. It's me almost like a live stream, but it's not a live stream which that'd be cool if I, really get my shit together and get people to actually do a live stream, people hop on and ask questions and everything. That'd be cool. But maybe this is my outlet how to do it. It's building a set, just feeling like I'm going for you're at the campfire with your buddies, you're at the bar, and you just kind of want to sit down and talk about life or all things, and there's not some sort of serious agenda for work or plan. It's just kind of, here to have a good time. I really wanted to try to make this cool too, like style with throwing on I have my vinyl record player just right behind me, and I was like, man, maybe I'll throw on some like a Batman record, like the Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, Prince 89, or do I have any other ones too? The Dark Knight, I have the Dark Knight. I think that's it. I have definitely want to get all of them, but I thought about throwing one of those on, but I know even though I'm not that a huge channel by any means, I just know how, YouTube seems to be kind of weird with music in the background like that. But to give you a little gist of where I'm at, I'm on bag 5 of this baby, page 108 in the instruction manual. Piecing it together. Eventually, I'd like to, I need to get a camera that maybe you can see me actually putting the shit together. That'd be a good idea, actually. But again, to kind of show you where I'm at, there's 17 bags. I'm halfway through bag 5. You know, you're getting there, right? Like from when you start a set, you can actually read just some of those Adam West classics right there. Mobile crime computer. I'm starting to get to the point where it's becoming a little bit more and more. You can tell what it is. You know what I mean? But here we go. Really, what is there to cover? Well, one, I guess I was actually going to say with the vinyl stuff. That's a hobby that it wasn't just Batman related. I wanted to get into it, but I love music. To a level, everyone loves music, but like I really, really dive into it and like it. And I get just so obsessive over artists, musicians. It's always the larger than life type of ones too, like Elvis, Prince, Elton John. All those guys are some of my favorite, but it is kind of funny because for the longest time I was always like kind of a record player was always thrown out as like, hey, you should get one. Start collecting. That's like, one, I would never spend the money. 2, I have no room for it. 3, I just don't see myself really doing it. Well, word of advice, if anyone is out there also kind of contemplating the exact same thing, yeah, I was completely wrong. You go out and buy your first couple records. Like me, I was like, fine, I'll finally go out and commit to it. I'll buy some, and my God, it wasn't just one. It was about 4 or 5, and then from there just started the absolute downward trajectory of me just spending. I actually don't want to know how much I've spent at this point on that record player, but it's been a really cool kind of hobby, something to do outside of just, gaming or reading or other things like that. But the more you dive into it, obviously, the more I've been like searching for this one damn piece the whole time I've been talking, and I can't find it. But it's like a domino effect. You buy it, and then it's like you start to remember all types of music that you have like some sort of nostalgic kind of feeling for, or things that remind you of stuff, or just some of your favorite songs. So before you know it, you're like constantly thinking, oh man, I should get that vinyl. I should get that vinyl. Like, then you start walking through the store and you're like, it just doesn't stop, So basically what I'm getting at, I legitimately cannot, oh, there was one. I'm getting at, because I was talking about the Batman ones. One thing with vinyl collecting that I'm trying to maintain, it's just funner when you can go to a store and find that hidden gem when you walk in, Maybe it's that one that's really been on your list for a long time. Your favorite one, like, you can hop on Amazon or anywhere online and you could buy every single one you've ever wanted, right? Done and dusted, easy, eBay, get it delivered to your house, couple days, and you have it, right? But at the same time, there's a bit of the hunt for them that's fun, It, in a way, to me, almost buying all of them online almost feels like cheating in a way, to where even though, it might take a long, long time to find some of them, it just feels kind of cooler and funner when you are doing it like that, when you walk into a store and find it for the first time, and it's just a lot, it just feels cooler. Like, buying it online, like I said, feels like cheating. But at the same time, I will say there's a couple on my list that I'm starting to think I probably will have to buy online, just because they are a little bit older, and I've learned that they don't seem to be ones that a lot of record players, care to really seek out to buy, purchase, or get their own. And some of them are Batman related. Like I mentioned I had Prince's '89 album, which is fantastic. You know, that's some of I think Prince's best work. And I mean, everyone loves Party Man and Trust. Arms of the Orient. There's some absolute heaters on that vinyl that people don't even talk about too. Scandalous is super popular. Arms of the Orient, Electric Chair, and others that are just so good. But at the same time, also, you know, Danny Elfman created a score for that movie that is absolutely killer itself. I mean, give you a little look of what I'm building right now. If you don't know what it is, I don't either. So at this point, I have no idea what it's gonna turn out to be. But Danny Elfman made a soundtrack for that. That, truth be, I mean, let's just be honest, completely helped shape Batman as a character too. I mean, they use how many of those soundtracks are still used? Batman's theme, that like everything about that music switching over to the animated series. They use it for the animated series. People would probably say that altogether that's Batman's theme in a lot of ways too. Just some of my favorite Batman music of all time is on that album. And I would love to find that. And I've tried to hold out to hope that maybe I could find it at some point, but unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen. That one, let's see, what's another good one? The Batman v Superman soundtrack. I mean, Hans Zimmer can do no wrong. I've seen him live, so I can attest to that fully as well. That's another one I'd love to get. But, you know, every time I walk in, Hans Zimmer is one of those really interesting ones, though, too, because every record place, from thrift shops, locals, to, big, even like a Barnes and Noble or something that sells vinyls, has a soundtrack section for movies. And in my head, like, it would be automatic that every vinyl place that sold vinyl music would have just a plethora of Hans Zimmer in their pick, right? Because, I mean, if you're going for movie soundtracks, like, who's not going for Hans Zimmer? You know what I mean? There's other good composers, Danny Elfman, like I just said, but, like, why would you just not have every banger Hans Zimmer's ever released out stocked all the time? So I've always kind of had a hope maybe I'll run into, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, or any of those, or, I have the Dark Knight. I wonder if they did a Batman Begins and a Dark Knight Rises vinyl. But anyway, it's like, you don't ever find those either, which really sucks. So those might be ones I might have to find too. Zack Snyder's Justice League's another one. It's got a really cool collector set that's like that big with Darkseid on the side. Just very stylistic as that guy is. That one's by Junkie XL, Hans Zimmer's sort of, protege in a way that also helped with BVS as well too. But for a 4-hour film, I mean, that's a ton of vinyl. You can buy it online, and that's definitely one that's been on my list. It runs for like 100 and something usually, which, I'm willing to pay. I just don't know why I haven't done it yet, actually. But I guess enough with vinyl. I swear to God, I did not expect to start this video talking about vinyl. But no, there's a lot of, I mean, fortunately there was some, like I got the Batman. Mask of the Phantasm came out when they did the Blu-ray release a couple years ago, like the 4K remaster. Mondo, that shop, Mondo or whatnot, did a release of that, and I jumped all over that because that was going to be awesome. My only problem with that vinyl or that soundtrack is that it's not long enough. Like, you throw it on, and it's getting all these awesome songs playing that, playing the Phantasm. But then, like, it feels like it's over too soon, where you really just want to sit and kind of get immersed in it all as well. But enough with vinyl. Let's move on from that. What's really going on in the Batman world today right now? Or the biggest topic right now, and some of y'all might I mean, this is a bold cut right now, but let me just say, first topic of it, just because I see these anytime you hop on social media in the comics world right now, anytime I go to Barnes and Noble, anytime I really see people talking about it, the topic of conversation for Batman comics right now is Absolute Batman, right? Really unique. Shout out to Scott Snyder. I mean, his run as Batman is universally praised as, you know, some of the best that they've ever done, and I would 100% agree with that. But, you know, Absolute Batman is a huge kind of 180 different route, which I really like when they do that. And kind of, you know, take established things and kind of flip it on its head a little bit to do something unique and different. I think that's super important for the characters to not just stick to a one-dimensional, hey, this is what canon, these are the characteristics. We never shy away from that at all. I don't really think that's a good idea for the character at all, and to keep them relevant. But anyway, what I was gonna say though is that, you know, I would arguably say it is universally praised from everyone I see how much they love it. And me, I read the first volume when it released, the collected volume 1. Really super excited to dive into it and see what it was all about. I heard nothing but good things. To be honest with you, I didn't really like it. There was just, I don't know what it was about it, and I will say it has been a little, there's been some time, so I can't sit and rehash a bunch of, you know, very specific details of why I don't like it. But I just remember reading volume 1 being, maybe it was the hype of it that just got to me, where I was too excited to read it, where everyone made me believe it was going to be God's gift to comics, that I kind of, I don't know, it just fell out. I finished it, put it with my collection of all my other comics, and then just kind of never wanted to, I didn't have interest in reading it anymore. If anyone watches this, and let me know what they think, because I'm sure if anyone does, or if I were to post this on social media, I'd have just a lot of people disagreeing with me. But, and I'm open for, like, like, there are some interesting things about Bruce being more working class, not having quite as much money, and things like that, that I didn't have the problem with. I just, overall, reading it, and maybe it was the writing style of it, I just remember, you know, turning that final page, finishing it, being like, I could care less to read volume 2 right now, which I do often see when I go into the comic shop or a Barnes & Noble, and I have thought, well, maybe I'll give it another try. This is not me saying I will never not maybe keep reading it. That's not whatsoever. Okay, so this turned into this from the last time I showed you. We're about to find out. I mean, it's going right up front, so maybe it's important, but there we go. I think that might actually be bag 5. Right there. But yeah, Absolute Batman. I don't know. I don't even have like that much to talk about it. I just wasn't that enamored by it by any means. I've actually made some videos on this, and I've had some people ask, and you know, it's always cool to get people's thoughts and opinions when I make Instagram posts or everything, because I do want it to be a spot where people can kind of, you know, join in on the conversation, feel comfortable enough to join in on the conversation and kind of tell me their thoughts on anything DC related with this character. And there's definitely a lot of conversations to be had about, well, the DCU in general right now and kind of what's going on with that, but also, you know, we did get a trailer for a Batman character for a film that, as far as we know, will not have Batman in it. Yeah, like I said, as far as we know, they could always surprise us, but that being old Clayface. I actually probably should have done a trailer reaction to that for the channel. I did think about it, but again, as I was kind of talking about at the beginning, with everyone hopping on that train and doing a trailer reaction, I was like, I don't know. But I will share some thoughts on it right now, kind of like I did in my video, because the DCU is in such an interesting spot right now, because you have reboots, different people taking over DC, getting a vision, having a plan, things changing, another reboot, another leadership, into where they've never really been able to find their footing after, I guess Nolan's run in the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, they come in, they have a plan, things change. Now, things are going to change when they put out a 10-year plan. That's not surprise, but they usually change so drastically that what they announce at the beginning in their plan slowly starts to kind of fall apart toward the end. And you can definitely tell that, it started happening when they cut 30 minutes of BVS, and then the Justice League situation, and then essentially every film after Justice League for DC before the DCU was just such a non-connected kind of, it's like they were trying to pretend it was building a big universe, but it's like, oh, we're going to do this movie, but these people can't be in it, or we're going to do like highlight a really random kind of low ball character, so everyone's like, oh, cool, but it doesn't really lead to anything ever. And it was just a long spurt of like movies that, everyone kind of, I think people went hoping like, hey man, maybe this one will be pretty solid, and they either walked out like, yeah, it was whatever, or it was really bad, or it just doesn't feel like anything makes sense anymore. And so, they switch over, start doing the DCU stuff. The DCU announces their big plans. It makes it all seem again, like they have everything mapped out. Here's this, and this, project. We're introducing him here, him there. And then slowly but surely, since they did those announcements, we've had, a lot of projects come out and kind of just trickle away. Some seem to get good reviews, but you don't really hear a lot of people talking about it, or outside of critical, you don't hear a lot of audiences really gravitate or connect to them. Some just come out and they're like, yeah, it's whatever. Cape Crusader, Creature Commandos, Superman's a bit of a sensitive subject, but I think it's kind of fair to say now it didn't have the box office draw that everyone thought it was going to have. Lanterns is dropping, and no one, I don't know, there's a lot of controversy with that right now, with the direction they're going and hype. Supergirl's about to drop, and I see a lot of people say that they don't think that has quite enough buzz as they're hoping either. There's a lot of projects getting canceled, so right now the DCU is kind of set to where I think everyone, especially with the Paramount merger, is like wondering again, hey, is this going to stay? Is this going to stick to the plan, or should we just prepare to be completely ready for another reboot here in a couple years? Like, are you guys going to just kind of push out these films, get them out, not connect to anything, and then we're going to get the announcement of Paramount wanting to do a completely different route? And that's kind of what it feels like right now. So when they dropped the Clayface trailer, it comes out, and it can be so exhausting too, because of course, as of right now, there's still a plan, they're still acting like they're releasing things, but of course, and this is again kind of speculation, so don't attack me on it, but at the same time, they're not going to say they're not going to do a plan or anything's going to fall apart. It's just going to fall apart. So I gotta say, I like Clayface. I like all the interpretations of Clayface. I think Cape Crusader did a fantastic job integrating the more old classic style, where it wasn't just, what you might know from the animated series famously, with the kind of disgruntled actor who is more grounded in some ways and murders people and whatnot. So I love Clayface, but when they dropped this trailer, my biggest issue with it was that it's going for such a dark, serious, kind of Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, Todd Phillips style film that's very, a solo project, very gritty, very artistically driven, which in any other world, I would love. I'd be like, I love when these films are super dark and serious. And I'd honestly say, I think a lot of them should be rated R and they should just go for it, um, and just embrace it. And so that trailer comes out, and I like the tone of it. But then I start to remember we've already been introduced to this Clayface. And I got a lot of crap on some areas by saying this because people said, you don't know this, you don't know that. It could be, there's tons of different versions of Clayface. There's like 20 of them in the comics. I'm like, okay, but we're adapting comic characters, but these are also movies, right? They're not going to do 26 Clayfaces. So, hands down, probably a high chance the Clayface we saw in Creature Commandos is the same as the one we're going to get in this film. And in Creature Commandos, a show that was very jokey, could have serious moments, but also directed by James Gunn, who kind of always falls back into comedic, stuff. The final shot we got of that Clayface was him playing Xbox on a couch in his apartment. Very jokey, very unserious. And people would say, oh, well, you didn't know that he killed people beforehand or killed this. It's like, no, I like that. That serious part of it, yeah, let's keep that. But then you've already dropped it down to him being a joke again. So the last shot of Clayface, you see him in modern present time of the DCU is playing Xbox on his couch in an apartment. And now we're supposed to go back to a film that's set before Superman and see this dark, twisted, super tragic story of this character and really resonate to him. But it's like, well, yeah, sure, we could have, but we already know where he winds up. Whatever seriousness is going on in this film, clearly he is fine, or it gets to a point where he doesn't really care about it, because whatever's going on here, now he's sitting in his room playing Xbox, And I didn't really like that. I kind of felt like there wasn't too much of a plan going on with some of these characters, and, they're supposed to be canon the same character through all the films, but they're having different artists or different people do it, that the tone's not going to fit. And people do say, well, the tone doesn't always fit in a comic run. Yes, I agree with that. But at the same time, this is a movie universe based off of the comic characters. So you can't get away with having 20 different, directors do a version of the character to where, most of these characters, if they're the big names, might get 2, 3, 4 films, solo films, and then be connected into smaller bits and pieces. So if we see a character like Clayface in the universe jumped back and forth all the time, but he's serious, he's very funny. He's serious, he's very funny, he's comedic. It's not going to fit. It's almost like what happened with Thor. They went from the very serious, the comedic, it worked okay, somewhat serious in Endgame and the Avengers, back to comedic, and it just completely washed out with Love and Thunder. So, again, I like Clayface. I like the character. I'm kind of on and off because, to be honest with you, plainly, it wouldn't be a film I would jump out to go see, which sucks because it is a Batman character, but at the same time, I don't know. If I hear that there might be hints of Batman in it or things, like, I don't know. I guess the safe question is, I'm just not sure if I'm going to see it at the moment. That is kind of up in the air. Putting this little piece on right here. It says, you see that? Come on now. Wow, that sucks. It says Bat Shoot. It's one of my favorite things about Adam West, man, is all the labels, all the gadgets he has for any situation that are always bat this, bat that, bat shark repellent, yada, yada, yada. It's always awesome. But, on top of that, though, too, some positive news for it is that Matt Reeves is going on a spree of posting and announcing casting announcements for his Batman universe. Some we already know, Sebastian Stan, Scarlett Johansson, returning characters like Officer Martinez. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I literally can't think of the actor's name for Jim Gordon. And why can't I? I really like the guy too. He was played Felix in the Bond movies too. But anyway, he's back. Pattinson's back, of course. And some of the characters he hasn't announced who's playing them. But at the same time, he is, it's been long enough with a lot of speculation or waiting to where it's nice to finally get some news on those regards of different things. So we're finally in the swing of production for that film, which is really nice. And I think he's going to keep doing it because everyone kept joking, wait, he hasn't posted the gifts. He hasn't posted anything. Like last time he was announcing everything with the gifts. Where are the gifts, Matt? And he's finally up that. So just being in that realm of the return of form to have some good announcement around that character has been nice. I feel bad I can't remember the actor's name of Officer Martinez or Jim Gordon, which is embarrassing. I don't know why I can't think of that guy's name. Jeffrey Wright. That's it. Old Jeffrey Wright. Which, those are some characters everyone thought would be returning. But, I don't know. I think eventually, though, what I'm hoping is that this is eventually going to turn into, one of these days, he's going to post a GIF. Because, obviously, with Pattinson being back, it's not like he sat and announced Pattinson's back. It's like, well, yeah, no shit. But I think at the same time, this means we could be getting closer and closer to him posting maybe potentially some a suit reveal, a costume test, or anything related to that. I think we are closer than ever to that. And I personally am really hoping for a new suit. Not that I didn't like the other suit was great. I think it definitely fit the time period of what they were going for in it. But at the same time, I think with the evolution of the character, they should amp up the suit, right? It doesn't make sense, I don't think, for the more experience he has to continuously just use the same suit. I think over time he'll learn and get better and then make another suit. But look at that. Perfect timing. Just finished page 5 or bag 5 on bag 6. And we did the whole front end from here down to there. I know you couldn't see it. I'll work on that. But just some random bullshit, like I said. So thank you, everyone, and take care.